When I was playing Garten of Banban for the Switch 2, I also remembered that Five Nights at Freddy's also had console ports, but I also remembered that the PlayStation had mouse and keyboard support, which then gave me an idea. Can you use mouse and keyboard on Five Nights at Freddy's console ports? Well, so you're probably thinking to yourself, Elliot, how did you came to this conclusion, and how the hell were you able to do this, despite the fact that you have a Bluetooth mic, since you need a Bluetooth adapter? Well, you see, my Bluetooth headphones actually came with a cable which actually links to the headphones, and then therefore can link to the controller. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because the volume from my voice will be very, very low, so you'll barely be able to hear me when I recorded this. So just keep in mind my volume will be really low. Anyway, let's get started with the first game. We're going to test this to see if this works. Yeah, in sheer disappointment, it seemed that the mouse didn't work. Except it did, but I couldn't see it at first. So then I went on to try out Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Oh my god, it works, Fnaf 2. Oh my god, this is actually working, holy shit. How is this working? How is this actually working? Dude, this is like actual, this is like literal Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Hello, and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Big Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see in your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old location, you know. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to...
Dude, I can't believe it actually works with this. Why does FNAF 2 work with a mouse? I, I don't understand. Why does Five Nights at Freddy's 2 work, but FNAF 1 doesn't? This blew my fucking mind. I was astonished. This actually made me curious if it worked with the other games, so then I tried out Five Nights at Freddy's 3. And what do you know? It fucking worked. FNAF 3? It worked. Oh my god, can we... Oh my god. Sorry, I'm using the fucking headphone, mate. The volume on that was awful.
Hey, glad you came back for another night. I promise it'll be a lot more interesting this time. We've got some great new relics over the weekend, and we're out tracking down a new lead right now. So, let me just update you real quick, then you can get to work. Like, the attraction opens in like a week, so we have to make sure everything works and nothing catches on fire. When the place opens, people will come in at the opposite end of the building and work their way towards you, and past you, and out the exit.
The problem is...
Yeah, you've officially...
The problem with this option is that since this does actually work with mouse and keyboard, the issue is I only have one USB port on my PS5. That's the problem, because My PS5 only has like one USB thing, so which means I can't select it with a I can't put my keyboard in. I mean, I think I can. Hold on a minute.
A few moments later.
The PS4 had a fucking the PS4 had a fucking adapter. Why do? Jeez, I'm just singing my keyboard now. Why does that's that's crazy. PS4 has a fucking adapter, but the fucking has two adapters. Yet the PS5 only has one. That's a fucking massive skill issue. That's crazy. This, in my eyes, kind of makes the console version of Five Nights at Freddy's actually playable, especially FNAF 3, since you could just plug in since before you'd have to use the analog stick to get to a certain camera. Now I can just click on it, and this just makes the console versions on the same side as the PC version. You get what I mean? I then decided to go back to Five Nights at Freddy's 1 to try out the mouse thing again since I was confused on why it didn't work. Even though it did. But the point is, this was actually kinda fucking cool. Oh, wait, it works now. It works. Holy shit. Dude, why does this work? Why does this actually work? Okay, next game. I need to test this out for next game. This was actually kind of cool and honestly kind of exciting since this is the first time, this might be the first time someone's actually discovered this, since there isn't actually a video where someone has gone to the PlayStation version well, of Five Nights at Freddy's, of any of the FNAF games, and actually, attempt to do this. Mostly because, their controller's right in front of them. So, I went out to try this on Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and let's just say it didn't work. I don't want to. Does it not work? I'm gonna... Okay, I'm not gonna stick with FNAF 4 for too long, because, I don't want to, really. I just want to test if it works. If I can use the mouse to do some crazy shit. Tomorrow's another day. If not, that's fine. No, it's just L1. It's just, yeah, okay. Again. No, it doesn't work. That's crazy though. Well, at least I got Foxy's stupid fucking head here for the thumbnail. Okay, so yeah, it didn't work for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, but who needs mouse controls for Five Nights at Freddy's 4? You only go right, left, and back and down, and there's no fucking cameras. Plus, you've got headphones, so therefore it's a perfect fine port of a pawn. What? It's a perfectly fine port that doesn't need no mouse. Why the hell would it need a mouse? So then, I moved on to SysLocation. Technically, it already has a cursor, so a mouse functionality would be no shit, right? This has to work. Right? 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 This has to work, doesn't it? This has to work. There's no way it doesn't work. There's no way.
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her?
There's no way they... No.
Welcome to the first day of your exciting new career.
Really?
Whether you were approached approached at a job fair, read our ad in screws, bolts, and hairpins, or if this is the result of a dare, we welcome you. I will be your personal guide to help you get started. I'm a model.
Out of all the games you could have had, like, this was severely disappointing, especially considering the fact that the PlayStation, well, not even just the PlayStation, but the console version of Five Nights at Freddy's Syslocation is known as the worst version, and it's of Syslocation, and it's known as a reason. The mouse cursor kinda fucking sucks. Granted, I am aware they did try to rectify it with an update by adding this, but still, the mouse cursor kinda sucks in this game. It's not an actual mouse, and yeah, using stick controls of this is just not great. So, that's kinda why I'm disappointed that they didn't add mouse port functionality, when the other games have mouse support. So, the fact that this game doesn't is... it's actually kinda crazy. It's insane. Why the fuck would you not do this, Cook Team? Like, why? 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 I then decided to move on to Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. However, with both Five Nights at Freddy's 4 and Syslocation not having mouse support, this made me less confident about FNAF 6 having mouse support. But then again, like I said, Five Nights at Freddy's 6 is it's actually one of those FNAF ports that are really, really good. Like, surprisingly good. So, I was not too bummed out about it, but at the same time, I kinda expected it to not have one. Not so confident with this one, because like, Syslocation FNAF 4 didn't have it, so what are the chances this one has? I mean, this one doesn't really need a mouse functionality, since it's actually well made for console. Yeah. What, have it then? No, it doesn't. I then tried to do it with Help Wanted, but of course, it didn't work. Not sure. I then also tried it with Help Wanted 2, but of course, it didn't work. Yep. Who would have guessed? I later then tried it with Security Breach, and yeah, no duh, it doesn't work. To be honest, I don't really need it to work, since, well, you can literally just play it with controller. So then, I moved on to the last game, and that game was Secret of the Mimic. And surprisingly, yeah, it doesn't work. No shit, what do you expect? I also forgot that Ultimate Custom Night existed, so then I went back to try on there, and... my disappointment. But, yeah. Unfortunately for Ultimate Custom Night, it doesn't work. No, but it's got a mouse. How could you have the mouse feature without the mouse feature? Where the gainers? I might just die. I'm gonna die. Kill me, please. Where are you? So, yeah, surprisingly enough, mouse and keyboard actually works with the Five Nights at Freddy's console ports. But only the first 3 games. Shockingly enough. Now, strangely enough, I actually decided to try and plug in my keyboard to see if that would work. And well, technically, yeah, it did. Keyboard. Oh, yes, right. Granted, my PS5 only has one adapter on front of it, so uh, I can't really use the mouse and the keyboard at the same time. So, but I mean, it works. It would work.
At the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see in your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old locations, you know. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company.
I then tried it on Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and of course it doesn't work. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, surprisingly it doesn't work, which I'll get to in a minute. Now, we actually aren't done yet, but there's actually one more game I wanted to see if the mouse functionality compatibility actually works. And that game was Into the Pit. And the reason I wanted to see if mouse compatibility actually works is mostly because that game actually has an Easter egg where if you click on one of the side of the menu, you actually get a cupcake. For some reason. I don't know why, but you do. So I wanted to see if the devs implemented mouse functionality into the console port of the game. And, well... Will this game work? Because I don't think Security Breach will work, but I'm like 50% certain this should work. Oh. Oh, damn. Doesn't work. That sucks. This made me question something when making this video. Why is it that only 3 ports of the first Five Nights at Freddy's games have mouse compatibility, if that makes any sense? That did not, but you know what I mean. And the reason I'm asking this question is, why is it that none of the other games do? Granted, some of the other games work fine without it, and some, well, they don't, they just suck, but those ports kinda suck, yeah. But why is it only the first 3 games? Then it dawned on me, what if this has something to do with the updates? Now, what do I mean? Well, you see, if you don't know, the console ports of the Five Nights at Freddy's games usually have updates, mostly to make them better and usually to add stuff like pause menus and all that. Basically, something for the console versions of such. For instance, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 had like a update a couple of months ago that added a pause menu, subtitles, and other languages and such. That I imagine Five Nights at Freddy's 4 will probably get the same thing. And then I really thought to myself, well, now you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I thought about it, and then I thought, what if these updates actually adds mouse functionality? And then it hit me. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 doesn't have an update yet that adds, you know, a pause menu and languages and all that. And Sis Location and FNAF 6 haven't got an update, which leads me to believe that they haven't got mouse functionality and mouse compatibility either. Now, I don't know about the Steelwall games, personally, and honestly, I don't think they should get mouse functionality necessarily, mostly because, you know, the console versions don't really need, most of the console versions don't really need that, since you can just play them on with controllers simply fine. Like, for instance, Security Breach is fine without mouse functionality or compatibility, or what the fucking do. I keep switching between it, but whatever. But, yeah. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, why did I make this video? Well, there's a reason. I decided that a few years later, well, not a few years later, obviously, I decided that months later I will try and buy a PlayStation adapter that will allow me to plug in 2 things. And with this, I actually might be able to try out something. I want to try and play Five Nights at Freddy's with the console versions with mouse and keyboard. since I've only used console, I've never actually tried it before. So, yeah, if you guys want me to try and play Five Nights at Freddy's how it was originally played, at least the original free games, then let me know in the comments down below, and I might do it. So, yeah, see you later.